Good morning, folks, and happy Tuesday. Nicole here from eWell Halifax. Today I'm going to talk about the link between our dietary intake, inflammation, and chronic illness. So I realize I talk about inflammation a lot in my videos, with clients, with the general public, even with friends and family. Inflammation is a big cause of a lot of our illnesses. So the question is, what's going on? What is inflammation doing to us? So I just, at the end of the video, I'm going to also mention a challenge that I'm going to be doing next week. So it's 5 days. Most of the work is in the last 2 days, but I'm going to talk about that later. And this challenge is definitely related to the topic today. So what is inflammation? Now, acute inflammation is inflammation that takes place when we are ill or when we have an injury or even an allergy. So our immune system starts working. Our immune system produces white blood cells. These white blood cells produce chemicals that actually kill off the foreign substances, whether it be bacteria, virus, allergens, even toxins. So the immune system does its job in acute inflammation. Chronic inflammation is generally the problem. So chronic inflammation is linked to a lot of diseases such as diabetes, heart disease, arthritis, even asthma, also related to problems with the liver and with the kidneys. So chronic inflammation is generally the problem. So why is our diet related to inflammation? So I'm going to go over 3 reasons today. These 3 reasons, there are many, many more. These 3 reasons are ones that I'm particularly interested in, ones that I deal mostly with in my clinic, and ones that I research the most because I have a lot of passion for learning how to deal with inflammation and making us all healthier. So especially in relation to our digestive tract. So the first reason that dietary intake is related to inflammation is that our dietary intake can cause cholesterol problems. Now, I'm just going to say that when I say unhealthy diet today, I mean a diet that's high in saturated fats, a diet that's high in sugar, in processed food and trans fats, as well as low in fiber. That's what I mean by an unhealthy diet. So the link between cholesterol levels and inflammation can cause illness. So if we have an unhealthy diet that's high in saturated fats and trans fats, we're going to have high cholesterol levels, as well as higher triglyceride levels, especially with sugar intake. So triglyceride levels are the fat that's sort of moving through the blood vessels or the arteries. And cholesterol is sort of a fatty protein, if you will, that that sticks to our artery walls. This plaque, also produced by triglycerides, this plaque damages the arterial walls, which causes inflammation. Now, triglycerides are also related to inflammation. So if we have a lot of fat, a lot of sugar in our diet, then we can have plaque buildup, which causes inflammation. So there's a lot more to that story, but that is related to heart disease, mainly heart attack and stroke. The second reason as to why our unhealthy diet could be linked to inflammation would be that our dietary intake is related to overweight and obesity. So if we have an unhealthy diet, then we're going to have more fat cells in the visceral area. So around our stomach, around our organs, we're going to have extra fat cells. Now, the visceral fat cells in the midsection are actually quite abnormal and they're dysfunctional. These fat cells actually produce inflammation. Not only do they produce inflammation, they also produce hormones and other chemicals that produce more inflammation. The inflammation from these abnormal fat cells causes insulin resistance at the muscular level. So, of course, that's related to diabetes. The inflammation also affects our liver. Not only that, but it's a big cycle. So, fat cells cause inflammation. Inflammation causes extra fat cells. So, what I try to do is sort of break that cycle. So we're going to reduce inflammation, we're going to reduce fat cells. We're going to reduce fat cells, we're going to reduce inflammation. And technically, if done well and done right, we should see some major improvement in overall health and a decreased risk in illness. So again, I'm keeping it pretty simple, but there's definitely a lot more to the story there, of course. And then the third reason is sort of what I study a lot. It's newer research, and it's a really, really, really interesting topic, especially in my clinic. So this is the relationship between the bacteria that's colonizing our intestines and our digestive system and inflammation. So if we have an unhealthy diet, then we are technically colonizing our colon and intestines with unhealthy bacteria. These unhealthy bacteria are actually related to inflammation. If we eat a really healthy diet, then we colonize with healthy bacteria. Some healthy bacteria produce short-chain fatty acids. Short-chain fatty acids are anti-inflammatory, they're anti-obesogenic, they promote healthy blood sugar levels and healthy insulin use. So they actually decrease our risk for diabetes, technically. So again, there's a lot of research going on there. It's really new science. It's really, really incredibly fascinating stuff. And again, I use a lot of this new research in my practice. So if you're interested in sort of what I do, or if any of what I said sort of resonates with you, by all means, you can definitely get in touch with me. And I'm also launching the first group session of my program. So if you want to learn more about the sort of anti-inflammatory program I'm launching in January, you can definitely check out my website, www.ewellhalifax.com. And then finally, I just want to talk about the challenge. It's starting on Sunday. I'll talk about later in the week as well. But basically, the first 3 days, we're going to discuss how to look for sugar in our diet. We're going to discuss how to avoid sugars and what to use in replace of these added sugars. And then day 4 and 5 is 48 hours of no added sugar. So I'm in. I hope that you're in. My biggest form of added sugar in my diet is definitely cookies. I love to eat cookies, and I like lattes as well. And right now I love eggnog. So I'm also with you guys. 48 hours, we're going to see what we can do. If you're in, that's amazing. And so that's it for today. Remember that a healthy digestive system leads to a healthy you. And have a great Tuesday and eat well, Halifax.